the
Are we starting right now?
thing? Yeah, we're recording. Can you get your life together, please? Are those voodoo beads?
Are they what?
Those voodoo beads?
What are voodoo beads? I don't do voodoo.
Whatever you wear on your wrist.
I don't do voodoo.
Just witchcraft?
I don't do witchcraft.
Just The Craft?
The Craft is a good movie.
The first one was. The second one was garbage.
There's a second one.
What's up? I'm Z.
Actually, I'm Z.
I was Z first.
Doesn't matter. We're here to spill some tea, and if you don't want to hear our tea, then deuces.
Deuces, the name of our show. Let's get into the tea. Z, take it away.
Z, take it away. Why is it on me? No, did you see the clip of U.S. State Representative Jasmine Crockett reading Marjorie Taylor Greene with her
reading a person?
bleach blonde, bad built butch body?
What does that mean?
So, I'm not even going to sit here and pretend I pay attention to politics like that, but they were in a situation, they were in a setting, discussing what they were discussing.
Discussing politics.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, the white lady.
I think people know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is.
She was saying whatever she was saying, and Jasmine was like, is that relevant? Like, how is it relevant? Turns out what she was saying wasn't relevant. I did look that up. And she was like, maybe it's too hard for you to read through your fake eyelashes. And then AOC was like, chill out, baby girl. Baby girl.
AOC started AOCing.
Right. And
AOC
so
you.
then they were like, oh, we need to strike those words. Jasmine, they asked for an apology. She was like, I'm not apologizing. You can strike my words, but I'm not apologizing. So by the time it got to Jasmine, she was like, so I got a question, because if somebody were to say something about somebody's bleach, blonde, bad built, butch body, would that be engaging in whatever it is they be saying in politics? And then they were like, whoa, calm down. The black lady say something, and now it's calm down. It always goes that way. Calm down, blah, blah, blah. They moved to strike.
Move
Strike.
to
Move
strike.
to strike.
The ED was on the move.
Her words.
So you got to put it on the...
Thank you.
Okay.
As well. And she's like, no, I want my apology. So she's getting hyped because you did disrespect me. And they're like, calm down. She's like, don't be telling me to calm down. So, you
don't say calm down. Black woman, a woman at all, actually. That's...
What are they telling her to calm down for? Like, homegirl didn't do the most.
So it's classic privilege.
100%.
Karenism.
100%. I feel like.
Because she was asking a legit question.
Right.
She was like, so if I were to say, first off, I think AOC was right. She was like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Karen, I feel like is an undertone. Karen, no, we're not doing that. Especially here. No, we're going to behave. We're going to behave because you already know if it was vice versa. And then shortly after,
and then
it was vice versa.
While AOC was saying her piece, this is why Baby Girl came about, because she was like, oh, did it hurt your feelings? Like, it was a lot.
So this is ridiculous because this is a public hearing, and these are people people elected these representatives to be in these positions, correct? So you're representing the people. So you shouldn't be doing all this extra stuff because you're not representing yourself. You're representing whatever district, whatever state. And it's like, why are we allowing ourselves, and why is this okay at all? And I think this is what people's problem is with politics. Lawnmower. But I feel like that's what people's problem is with politics, is because it's a lot of double standards, and it's a lot of, I guess, I don't know if you say blurred lines, but if we're not going to stand for it, we're not going to stand for it. And now it's a standard. And if it's a standard, that means that nobody crosses that line. That's it. That's across the board. That's what justice is. You're supposed to be representing justice. It's supposed to be a democratic process, which includes justice for all. So how are you going to say it's okay for you and then somebody else does it? And it's like, okay, well, no, you should have said that the first time to the first person when it happened to them, because that's what justice would be.
Also, I feel like there may have been instances in the past where it might have gotten that far, whatever, and someone maybe had to apologize, or there's a certain protocol, which is why Jasmine was like, hey, like, she don't got to apologize. She don't got, you know what I mean? But it's just like, you know, I 100% feels like race plays a part in it. For sure. For sure.
I agree. I feel like Black and female, it's
especially in the workplace.
Any way you look at it. I've had this conversation with several people. Being Black and female, you're definitely marginalized in this country, just with the history of this country. And it's not saying that you have a reason to not be successful, but it should also be recognized that there is some marginalization for being Black and being female. It's almost viewed as you're having two strikes when you start out. So no, you can still be successful, but let's be honest here. All right. It's possible, very possible, that you be looked at differently because you're Black and because you're female. And I feel like examples like this play out, and then people say, no, that's not the case. It was just a situation. And it's like, is it really just a situation? Right. Because this type of situation is just a situation quite often.
It's like the scene in Scandal with Olivia and Papa Pope. You got to be twice as good. You got to work twice as hard. Like, you got to go above and beyond. Oh, this reminds me.
Which season was that?
I don't know what season it was.
Papa
I am
Pope,
in the middle of a rewatch.
Like 3 or 4 if he was there. He's like, I am the guy. I will. You have to be twice as command.
He was making her say it.
Oh.
I want to say it was possibly maybe the episode where she was like, I'm the mistress. And he like got a plane to get her out of there. It was possibly maybe that episode. If that episode's right, I don't know. That possibly might be it.
If that episode's right,
I'm a Scandal
It means
head.
nothing. Oh my gosh.
That means I rewatch Scandal a lot.
Olivia, hit me up. Shonda.
Anyways.
Yes, anyway.
But, no, that's just being a Black woman in the workplace. That's just what that reminds me of. So
it doesn't matter what the workplace is, even being an elected official, it's almost across the board that it's ingrained almost in American culture. Why are you so angry?
Right. My old boss told me, like, we were talking about something and he was telling me, and he was telling me about a different guy. I'm a marketer, a different guy. And he was like, I was talking to him and like, he's kind of scared of you. Like, he's intimidated by you. He was like, I don't know. He thinks you don't like him. And I was like, why? I've never really interacted with this person. And when I have him, I was like, oh, hi. So like, why would they think that? And I low-key feel like my old boss was a little bit scared of me too.
Why would he think that? What was your interactions like?
I'm like the most smiley, nice hi to everybody.
Are you though?
When I'm in my marketing bag, absolutely.
And you're 100% in your marketing
100%.
bag. All the time you was at work. You was 100%. Always in your marketing bag.
Because the only time I would have saw this person would have been marketing events. I'm 110% in my marketing bag at marketing events. So it's just like, I don't know why. I low-key feel like that person could just sense they can't get over on me. Like, I'm a peep it with my witchcraft, and I'm going to know.
Yeah, everybody knows that. So do you feel like it's because you're black? It was an assumption like, oh,
100%.
strong black female ain't going to be able to pull nothing over on her.
Yep.
And you feel like that played into this?
Because I do come off because I am very strong. I'm very much.
You very. What do you lift?
I'm very. Don't play. That could be an episode. I'm very confident and I'm assured of myself, especially when I'm out doing my job. So, but I'm also like super nice and cool. Like, say hi to me. I'm not. So I just
say hi to me so I can shoot you down.
I just feel like that was, I don't know. I just felt like that was interesting. And there were other situations in that workplace too, where I was like,
Do you feel like any of those instances was you doing too much?
No.
Do you feel like it's a possibility?
No. I literally watched a white girl that I work with do too much. Do a lot of the time. Always. And never even get nothing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to the same old story.
Yep.
So whose fault is it?
And then this is a lot. People who know me are going to be able to figure this out at this point. But whatever. Don't nobody be trying to come sue me. But basically, before I left that job, I asked for a little bit of a raise because I'm good at what I do.
Mm-hmm. And this is way back in the 80s. Way back.
Way back. Like, way back.
Before you were born.
Before I was born.
So that's safe. Nobody knows. Okay,
right. Long time ago. This could have been in Washington when I worked there. Who knows? But I worked plenty of places there. Nobody's going to be able to pinpoint.
Right. Or when you were in Europe or Jamaica working.
Or Louisiana. Or New York.
I just feel like the locations that I'm saying are safe locations. And then you're like pinpointing specific locations. Well, go ahead, please.
But I asked for a little bit more money because I'm good at what I do. And I know that I was worth it and got shot down. Okay, not completely shot down. It was first do this for me. And I feel like I already did a lot for you.
Is that how you said it? Always smiling? I did a lot for you. This is how I smile.
And people would agree. Anyway, fast forward. I'm out of there, another place wanted to pay me not my worth, but closer to, And when I say this is definitely getting away. But now that place is willing to not only pay one person a lot more, but hire two, because it takes two to take my spot. But hire two. So I'm like, so you had it, you just didn't want to.
Didn't want to shell it out.
And I'm like, is that because I'm black? And the only reason I say that is because I know said white girl I was talking about makes more than what I was asking for. And she's not as good as me. So I was like, interesting.
I feel like it could be.
And said boss still texts me to this day asking me questions about my old role that I stopped.
I feel like it could be you've been taught stereotypes. And until you're face to face with the reality that you were taught stereotypes, it is your reality. Does that make sense? Let me explain if it doesn't. I was in the military, right? I'm black, but I'm also me. You know what I mean? So in the military, there were guys who were white, who were from places where there weren't any black people at all. So I was like the first black person that they've actually interacted with. And it was all like, I thought all black men were like 50 Cent, because that's all I've been fed my whole life. You know what I mean? So it's like interacting with you, It's like, oh, what they say? You're one of the good ones. They didn't say that, but it's all like, oh, you're one of the good ones. Where does that come from? That comes from some kind of perception that, well, these types of people aren't generally good. So then I meet somebody, it's all like, oh, you must be an exception based on what I've been fed my whole life, right? And living in America, where the freaking White House played Birth of a Nation, the original movie, which is about the KKK being the heroes and the black slave escapee being the bad guy. The whole country plays at the White House, which means the whole country was okay with it at a time. It's like you can't look at that and think that there's not some kind of a stigma that'll be passed down through generations. And it's all like, I get the idea of America is great. The idea of America is great. But in application, a lot of work needs to be done there to get where America feels like it should be. You know, I ain't talking about like pandering, but it's all like, just look at people as people first. Like you're a person before you're any other epithet or stereotype or characteristic. Like before you any of those things, you're a beating heart. Yeah. With blood pumping through your veins, just like me.
Yep.
That's where it should start. And it would be great if we could start there and then go into everything else. But I don't think that's the case. So it's not an excuse.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, so if I'm doing a business, I've been taught that I can treat this person or I can pay this person lesser than, because you got all these coaches, head coaches who are black that get paid lesser because of the stigma that's countrywide. And that's why it's like, yeah, it's systemic. So yeah, you can't be successful, but yeah, we got to work twice as hard. And you're just average just because based on how you look, just based on your characteristics, because the country's been taught that your characteristics are more right than my characteristics. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's wrong. That's not justice. However, it's like I said, a systemic thing. So
right. And it's crazy because that white girl acts more stereotypically black than I do. Anyway, which brings me to when you were saying, oh, you're one of the good ones. That also brings me to and reminds me of growing up, how people would always like, you talk so well. You're so articulate. You're so like, why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? That irritates me too. And the same token also, growing up, other black, why do you talk like that?
I get the same thing. We talk like that because our father carried around words and memorized them in a dictionary. So we grew up speaking properly because he spoke properly.
And he spoke properly because he really wanted to be a radio DJ and he had a speech impediment and he worked really, really hard to overcome that so he could do said job, which he did. He was Sugar Shep. He'll keep you dead in step.
But now he's saved, Shep. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
But he hit that goal. And so he instilled those things in us. And so we've always just talked very proper. We know words in the dictionary. And that's just what it's been.
We always talked proper or we always spoke
okay.
properly
okay.
while you're talking about speaking properly.
But also, like, don't get it twisted. I'm sure if you rile us up enough, you could also see the other side of that.
I'm not included in that.
What?
So I'll be all like, wop.
Just saying. No, but that also reminds me of, this is just bringing the things. The most backhanded compliment, I think now that we have a name for it, I think it's a microaggression.
Yeah, but
you're so pretty for a black girl. What?
Babe,
I'm sorry, but I remember exactly where I was standing at my job. This one was in Washington at a little fundraising place called Superior. I don't care. And I remember exactly who it was who said it to me. I'm not going to put her out there. I don't know if she's still alive and kicking. But she was older. She was older.
Okay.
She was older and she was Crockett. And I was just like, What?
Okay, so all right. And this isn't okay. So you said she was older, right?
And by older, I mean at that time I was probably like 22. She was probably like 40 something, but she did drugs, so she looked a lot older. But like looking back now from my grown up brain, she was probably like 40 something.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
And a meth head.
So did she feel like it was an actual compliment?
Oh, for sure. She wasn't trying. Like the way she said it, I could tell she felt like
she thought I'm going to empower this black girl because I know they don't get empowered.
You're so pretty for a black girl.
Girls. That's what I'm talking about. Things like that. And then people and touching your hair and all these other things. And you see these videos, people say, I refuse to explain blackness to you. Mm-hmm. It was like this whole movement where it was like, no, you can't touch my hair. No, I will not explain. No, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what it goes into. It's like, why would it be for a black girl? What you're insinuating is that the average black girl isn't pretty.
Correct.
So I'm an exception to the rule being black girls aren't pretty. Mm-hmm. So why do you have that in your head? And just think to yourself, how many unattractive black women have you seen with your lip fillers and your tans and your injections to try to look like black women?
Saying. So, yeah. And I'm also entering into my not explaining my blackness to you era because I am it's on my lip.
Blackness.
I'm a
blackness.
recovering people pleaser. I'm still trying to work out of this. And I would be like, I'll be your token black to teach you all the things. Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about it. And then...
Is that the voice you use? You use that voice to talk about all the things?
No. And but like
the more... You're failing them right there.
The more and more you do that, it's just like... Because you're expecting to be like, I'm going to explain this to you. You're going to get it. And then it's going to be fine. And that's not what happens. I'm going to explain this to you. You're still not going to get it. You're going to ask some stupid questions that are also offensive. And it's not going to be fine.
So then you say, hey, that question was offensive. And let me explain to you why it was offensive.
Yes. But there's only so many times that you could do that. And I'm not cut out to be your token and to explain nothing to you. It's 2024. There's TikTok, YouTube, Google, Twitter. There's so many options where you could like type in the topic and so many conversations would probably pop up about it. And I'm just...
So it's like if you really wanted to know, you would research. You would find out.
Hallelujah. And so now I'm like, I'm not your token. I'm not going to explain my blackness to you. And that's just outside of, I love your hair. They're sister locks. Thank you. I mean, I'm not going to be a total, Mm-hmm. Oh, how long did you... We're not doing all that. We're not doing all that. Because I'm over it.
I feel like for me, because, when I was in the military and I cut hair. That's what I did in the military. And white people, because this was around the repeal, like don't ask, don't tell. So the gender kind of was flip-flopping as far as getting fades and stuff like that, which was like, there was specific regulations for men and women. Mm-hmm. So when they come in to get cut, but like anybody can get a fade, I guess. Anyway, there was people who would get fades and they would cut their hair like high and tight, and it would be out of regs because the length is 4 inches, 2 inches in bulk, 4 inches in length. That's like the regulation. And it's like, well, their hair is obviously over 4 inches, but they're like, hey, can you cut it and make it look, and it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. The issue is when people get called out like, hey, your hair is out of regs. And it's because you have coarse hair because you're black. Mm-hmm. And it's not out of regs. And I was like, tell them to come to me because I am the regs. That's part of my rate. Like I cut you to make sure you're in regs. We have the regs posted right here. And they like to say what it is that they want instead of what the black and white instructions are. It's like the black and white instructions is what you're enforcing, not your own personal will.
Yeah.
But that's how it was in the military. And it's like, I feel like it's not your responsibility, but for me, one thing was brought to my attention about something that was sexist. And it wasn't about me, but I recognized myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I would have done that same thing and not thought twice about it. So because of that, I want to make sure I don't do that. So because I've been made aware of it, now I can be cognizant that I'm not doing it, right? So I kind of think about that. It's like, it's not your responsibility and it's not your job. But for me personally, I'm all like, so you seem to be very genuine right now in what you're saying. Let me give you a different perspective. And you don't have to live your life like this. But I would think if you want to be a better person, a better people to people, then you would apply this, what I'm about to enlighten you on. The next time you interact with somebody who does look like me, right? And that can go with race, that can go with gender, that can go with identification, that can go anything across the board. It's like, I've never met somebody like you. What's your perspective on life? So now it's easier for me to be able to empathize with you. So no, it's not my job to teach anybody, but to give somebody a different perspective. It's like, for me, I'm a person that I want that. I feel like I'm better. If I have more perspectives, then I can understand more when I talk to people, especially like being a preacher. Like for me, I feel like it's very practical. Like the word is very practical, and I want to be able to relate to people. So I can't relate to people if I'm just around people who are like me, who are all the same. So I want to be around different people and then be all like, so tell me about some of your struggles that you're going through and how you perceive certain things going on, because I don't perceive them like that. And it's all like, that's insight, because I would have never seen it like that because I've never experienced those things. Mm-hmm. But now through your eyes, I have a better viewpoint from a different perspective.
Not me. No, I think it's easier. I think it's easier for me to look at stuff like that when it's like male, female. I'm like, what do you think about this as a guy? Like, it's easier for me to have that, I've just been burned too many times. And
that's why you're dark.
Yes. If you ask Mom swears I was light skinned until I was laying out in the sun with Maria. I'm like,
I don't know why she be saying
it work that way, Mommy.
It's the same thing with, oh, your hair used to be so good and then I cut it. Like, it's genetics. Because I used to believe it for the longest. Be like, why you cut it, man?
Crying in the core.
Like, why you cut it, man? Good hair, pretty hair, man. Good hair, good. But see, now I feel like my like pretty hair, good hair to me is nappy and texturized.
Yeah.
Soft, really is. I don't want to be hard, but like nice texturized, soft with the nap. Sometimes I started wearing my hair extra nappy in the military. I was like, I ain't combing my hair because these white boys get up, they don't comb their hair, they got bad hair, and you're perfectly fine as long as it's what? Off the ears and tapered. That's what the regulation says. Off the ears and tapered. Everything else is whatever. Honestly, it's whatever. As long as you put the hat on and it looks like you got a fade, cool. So I would be like, let somebody say something to me.
And nobody ever did.
Once I want somebody to say something,
of course.
Nobody ever said nothing. I was like, come on. And I wasn't going to check him like, oh, I was going to be like, so have a seat. Let me explain something to you. That's what I was on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to enlighten people out here. You know what I mean? But nobody ever wanted to be enlightened. I feel like it was just my aura. It was different. Is that rain? That's what happens when you go outside.
Should we run? What is that?
I know where I'm going. So
Oh, wow.
We're at 30 minutes, man. I thought that was a good conversation.
That was a good conversation.
It was.
Stay black.
Follow us everywhere.
Oh my gosh, yes. Follow us. We have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, website. You know, subscribe.
All the things.
Subscribe. Follow us on all the things. Website is deucespod.com.
Brat.
Instagram is deucespod. Facebook is deucespod.
I don't know the other sound effects.
Deucespod. And that's deuces with a Z. Remember that.
Yeah, like it's spelled right here. That's a Z. It's in yellow. Deuces.
Oh, it's a train. We're fine. We're going to live.
I knew I was going to live. I know I'm going to live forever.
Everybody lives. Everybody lives. We can talk about that in another episode.
Where do they live? Yeah, you're right. We can talk about that in another episode. In Jesus' name. So, what do we say?
Thanks for joining us. This is episode 3. I think this was a great conversation. And should we say deuces?
We didn't even practice in that, bro. That's crazy.
What?
We didn't practice that. Like we're here with that, you know, the stuff about the life. But the deuces, though, we good.